I'm Dave Ford. In this screencast I'm going to show how we can use something called a VLOOKUP table in Excel in order to associate a grade boundary with a grade that students have scored. Now, VLOOKUP table is a really useful feature of Excel which I use lots in various different ways, and here's just one example of them. So I've got here a table and there's student names here and they've got different scores, different percentages out of 100, and then I want to work out what that grade relates to. Now elsewhere I've got a table which has got the grade boundaries, so if they get sort of 40% it'd be a pass, anything less than that would be a fail, 50% is a 2-2, 6% 2-1, etc. I've just put in for humour, if they get over 100 they're a cheat. Now this case is on the same sheet, but it could be elsewhere in the spreadsheet, it could be on a different sheet, and I'll often do that and have it hidden so that people can't see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in this first cell here next to Albert, and I'm going to enter a function. Now I could type it in straight away, or I can go up to the top here and choose more functions, and it will be under lookup and reference, and it's called a VLOOKUP. So there it is there. I'll click on OK. Now when this comes up it gives me four different things I need to enter. The first thing is the lookup value. So if I click on that little box, and the value I want to look up is the score. So I want to look up the number 25, and then I press enter, and you see here it's put in the cell reference of D6, which is what that cell refers to. Now the table array is the table that I want to look up in, so in this case it will be my table of scores. Now the significance to this is when I copy this formula down, I don't want this bit to move down with it. Okay, I want that to stay still, so I need to make this into what's called an absolute address. So I do that by pressing F4, and it puts dollars around the numbers and letters. Yeah. So I'll press enter now. Now the column index number is which column in the table do I need to return the data from. Now in this case it's only a 2-column table, so it's going to look up a number in the first column, and then I want it to return the number in the second column, so I just type the number 2 in there. But I could have a much bigger table here, and you could enter the numbers 3, 4, 5, whatever it is that you want, or you could choose a reference which would contain the number that you're referring to. Now the final thing is the range lookup. Now this is an optional thing that you can put in, but in this case we do need to include it. The instruction says it's a logical value to find the closest match in the first column. So if I wanted it to be an exact match, I could put in the word false. If I want it to find the nearest match, then I type in true, or I can leave it omitted. Okay, I'll just put in true just for completeness sake. And what that means is if it doesn't find exact match that number, it will go for the next one higher than it, which is what we want. Okay, so the number 25 doesn't appear there, but it will find the next one, which will in fact be fail, so not higher than it, sorry, lower than it. So I click on OK, and you see that it returns the number that I want, the fail. If I copy this down, it will then automatically populate my grades based on the chart that's there. And if I come in and I alter some of the numbers, so I'll put that back to 85, you'll see that it will change the grade automatically for me. So it's a very simple way of looking up information in a table and putting it somewhere else in a spreadsheet, and then we've got something where students or you can control something and it will then change something accordingly, and that's got all sorts of uses as teaching resources. Here I've used it for managing grades, etc.